Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahi Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. The topic of the present discussion is religious and ethical studies of Hinduism in the 21st century. I am reminded of Sri Shankaracharya, the late Adi Shankara. He, while quoting his predecessor Sri Vyasa Maharshi in his book Brahma Sutra Bhashya, the commentary on the Brahma Sutras, one of the major scriptures of Hindus, remarks that in the past modifications were introduced while teaching the Vedas and the Itihasas at the juncture of the beginning of each yuga or each cycle. Such modifications were introduced in order to suit the special conditions of that yuga or that age. This observation of Acharya Shankara indicates that the teachers and acharyas of the past had been magnanimous to accept in their interpretations while imparting the spiritual knowledge or the wisdom of Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism to people according to the changed circumstances of the society. The import is the purpose of Shastras or scriptures in serving the society should be carried out at every age, because their teachings are valid and are of great importance for maintaining the society in its pristine order. The Shastras, by and large, serve the purpose of the welfare of the individual and that of the society. Bahujana Sukhaya, Bahujana Hitaya, for the good of many and for the welfare of all. That is the practical purpose of Shastra in Hinduism. During every new cycle of time, the very Shastras need to be taught according to the prevailing psychological condition of the people. Any connotation, for that matter, can imply differently according to a changed situation or a changed or different condition in time. For instance, the connotation of the usage of the word Hinduism in place of Sanatana Dharma itself is related to such a change during the medieval period of the history. Sri Shankaracharya refers the Vedas and the Itihasas because they encompass the primary scriptures of Hinduism. To be precise, the Vedic scriptures, especially that of the Upanishadic portions of the Vedas and the Itihasas, that is Ramayana and Mahabharata, they are contained in the books like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, etc., are the very basis of the Indian history and the culture of its society. Therefore, they are to be interpreted time and again, to educate the society about the core principles of Sanatana Dharma. While the Vedas are a mine of knowledge about existence, about lives of the people, their aspirations and destiny, the Itihasas give a valid picture of the age-old Indian way of life. Through an encyclopedia of history and stories of dynasties, interspersed with immortal discourses on morals and religion, loaded with certain models of fraternal affection, mutual service, compassion and love, and narrating how the ancients lived in prosperity, transcending ethical problems and the complicated working of karma, achieving the general welfare of humanity as a whole, fostering inspiring lessons that explains at large the true Indian way of living. It is in this respect, introspection of such scriptural guidance to life, that Hinduism is referred to as the way of life. We call Hinduism as the way of life. These are the ethos that Hinduism constantly looked at and passed on as an unbroken history to its people, so that the future of every generation imbibes them and remains safe without causing any malignancy to the family structure and the fabric of the Indian social system. Presently, we are in the new millennium, in the 21st century, in an era of changing times. Over a couple of decades, we have been perceiving massive changes all around the world. Every city is becoming like a miniature world, and the world itself is growing beyond any measurable proportion. Human beings are so overly enamored, they even fail to observe or think about their own existence. It is in this context that the spirit of Hinduism becomes relevant. If we are to take Sri Shankaracharya's remark seriously, it is certainly the appropriate time to make all efforts to reach out to the people of this new age and impart the age-old wisdom of Sanatana Dharma with such modifications that are suitable to this 21st century. Now the big question is, what are the modifications that are to be carried out? Does it imply any major changes to the texts of the Hindu scriptures? The answer is no. In fact, it is not about modifications to the Vedic scriptures in themselves, but it is about modifications in their interpretation that is spoken of. It can also mean the methodology of interpretations. First of all, what are the things that Hinduism in the form of Sanatana Dharma wants to impart and inculcate in the life of its people, and why? And what are those possible changed instructions relevant to the current scenario? Let us find answers to these questions. The core of Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma, in fact, lies in its ethical and moral teachings embedded in its scriptures or shastras. In all respects, Sanatana Dharma is supreme in the purity of its ethical teachings and in the flexibility and varied adaptation of its rites and ceremonies. The beauty is, no one has ever tried to impose or compel them on anyone, on anybody. The knowledge is there, and they are open for the people's choice. Let people select what they want. There is an oft quoted saying about Sanatana Dharma. It's like a river which has shallows that a child may play in, and depths which even the strongest diver cannot fathom. One of the remarkable aspects of Hinduism is the way in which it has laid down its entire scheme of knowledge. It is adaptable to every human situation and every human need. The more we study, the more we understand, the more does it illuminate our intellect and gratify our heart. And one who imbibes it will certainly be happier, finding solutions to life's troubles and problems under all circumstances. Coming to the modifications in the interpretation of scriptures. While thinking of reinterpreting of any idea, we should introspect about the nature of the religious and ethical studies that we are envisaging for the present times. Care must be taken that every interpretation of scriptures should be of appreciable nature and applicable to the context of people's needs. Care also to be taken that no one feels any grievance about such interpretations. Also, with regards to the interpretations themselves, there are a few things requiring special consideration. First of all, such religious and ethical studies has to be liberal and non-sectarian in its character. It's very important. Secondly, such a study should be definitely and distinctively based on the Hindu scriptures. It must be inclusive enough to unite every divergent form of thoughts of Sanatana Dharma and exclusive enough to leave aside the thoughts which are of fundamentalistic by nature. And we must avoid all doctrines which are the subject of controversy between schools recognized as orthodox. Thirdly, such a study also must not entertain any socio-political issues of the day. If we are envisaging a holistic spiritual culture, it has to be least political in its content. At the same time, it must try to lay a solid foundation of religion and ethics to build better specialized principles suited to the intellectual and emotional temperament of people. And it must also be directed towards shaping what is conceived as the Hindu character, that is, being pious, dutiful, strong, self-reliant, upright, righteous, gentle, and well-balanced. Fourthly, such a study should nurture the strong belief that the fundamental principles of Vedic religion, governing the general view of life and life's obligations, are sufficient to mold the basic Hindu character. Also, that which unites Hindus in general under the umbrella of a common faith must clearly be taught in an understandable manner, and all that divides them must be ignored. And fifthly, to the last, while undertaking such religious and ethical studies, care must be taken to cultivate a wider spirit of tolerance, respecting the differences in thoughts and practices among various Hindu sects. The prime focus of this study, therefore, should be on the religious and ethical instructions acceptable to the modern world, which should include such teachings that marks Hinduism as special from other religions. The study of each and every religious movement in Hinduism, that of the past and the present, are also to be made a part of the curriculum, but it must not singularly entertain the distinctive view of any particular school or sect that may cause the universality of Sanatana Dharma. Hinduism is not merely a bundle of beliefs having no real connection with the daily life of its people. As a religion that encompasses and embodies life as a whole, it teaches all the basic tenets of individual and community living. It makes for the edifice of a harmonious, healthy, and beneficial whole. To know these principles and act upon them is the real dharma or duty of every Hindu. We are to move on with a Hindu tag, ensuring happiness, love, and peace to one and all. We are to make the world understand, believe, and feel that everything in the name of progress and prosperity is acceptable to Sanatana Dharma. Let everyone know that the Hindu Shastras have been open-minded and they contain everything that is considered noble and life-giving. Such a universality of the Hindu mind is visualized by sages in a beautiful mantra. Ano bhadraha kratavo yantu vishwataha. Every syllable of this mantra is packed with the universality of Sanatana Dharma. Ano bhadraha kratavo yantu vishwataha. Let noble thoughts of wisdom from everywhere enrich us. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.